there, but...
I heard you were going for a homecoming.
Excuse me, I'm not prepared for the program. I forgot something.
I certainly hope you're not going to put flour on that chicken before you do it.
Yeah, why?
You're not supposed to.
You're not?
No. Does it call flour?
No, it doesn't say anything about it.
Well,
it
you're
just
not
says...
supposed to put flour in it. They don't have flour, milled flour in the Congo.
Oh. Well, it says fry chicken till golden brown. How can you get it golden brown? It doesn't have anything on the outside of it, just the skin. Well, Laban, if you would write these things in the recipe, it would
well,
be
I think
nice.
It says that right in the recipe. Doesn't say anything about flour.
Well, that doesn't mean anything necessarily. There was a recipe last week. It didn't say anything about a couple of other things that were supposed to be in there. But anyway, now that we're off to a grand start, we will take this stuff. This is a whole cut-up chicken.
Oh, it was mashed flat.
They don't have these in the Congo either, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to use it that way. If you think I'm going to go out and chase a chicken through the woods, you're wrong.
Woo.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It certainly does cut down on preparation time.
That thing is really hot.
It is. I'm going to put it off a little bit before we burn everything down here. Excuse me, I have to do a little sawing at this point. This is the part I hate. I hate wrestling with chickens. Although some of my most fun times back on the farm. Oh, there we go. That was a big piece that needed to be made smaller. Well, I'll say this much. It certainly cuts down on the prep. That's it for the first part.
Now, a mashed chicken. All right, now, this beef that I've got going here, you're going to think it's going to burn in just no time at all. But it isn't. You just have to keep moving it around the pan. And I'm using stew beef for this. And look what you get in there. Sometimes you get a piece that has got mostly fat. And because of my heart problems, I'm...
Oh, God, do we have to hear about that?
Sure. I'm de-fatting it and just put a little bit of the... try to keep as much of this fat off of it as you can.
Keep your fat off it.
Yeah. And...
I still think that in the Congo, they could probably stir up a little flour somewhere if they wanted to. If they could stir up this Holly Farms chicken, they could do anything they wanted to.
All right, now, as you get the chicken, and I'm going to put in just a little bit of oil here, or a little, whatever, of our margarine. I'm trying to keep down on the oil. I'm just slide a little bit of that right down into there. About a tablespoonful. This is all the nasty parts that we don't need. I need about 2 tablespoons of parsley, chopped. Now, in this recipe, I already have 1 large onion, coarsely chopped. And it's all ready. And then I'm going to salt it briefly, just a little bit of salt.
I wonder if they have Kroger's black pepper in the Congo.
No, they have the real stuff, the real McCoy.
But then that's another TV show altogether. We won't get into that.
Hassie's in the bar with the...
That's an old routine we used to do. I'm trying to gather up some of
the grease.
The grease, which the grease is the word. It'd be a great name for a TV show or a off-Broadway production, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Grease is the word.
Is the word.
Now, here we go with this parsley coarsely chopped in here, and you want this meat to get good and brown. Don't worry about the little burned pieces of onion and stuff like that, because that will just color and it won't taste.
Is that the parsley?
Yes. And there you go. All right. Now, at this point in this particular recipe, after you've got this meat good and brown like this with the parsley and salt and pepper and the 1 onion added, and that's about 2 pounds of stew beef, You then add water to cover. Water to cover. All right, so I'll do that. Larry, we'll...
Water to cover, was that, Laban? Now, we're going to chop up an onion, which is something that we spend probably most of our time on this program doing. Now back to Laban.
Thanks. In a little while, after we get the, this meat has got to cook for about an hour and a half to 2 hours till it gets real tender, fork tender. Then you're going to take some potatoes and quarter them and put them on top of the stew. You don't want to stir it down in. You want to rest it on there. And you'll find that by judiciously stirring this every once in a while.
Judiciously?
Judiciously stirring it.
$50 word,
and,
ladies and gentlemen.
Occasionally taking the top off to vent it. You'll find that the broth will cook down to a delicious gravy. Oh, they're making those signs at us again.
They're signified to us.
Where is your garlic, your wreath of garlic, Bly?
No, that's Aretha Franklin. Oh, Aretha Garlic. Oh, okay. I remember that's Aretha's sister, the one that can't sing so good. All right. What?
All right, now, back to you chopping the onion.
Well, I'm still chopping the onion. Laban?
Larry?
One can only pass this back and forth so many times between two people.
Oh, I don't know.
Why don't you talk about my hair for a while I finish doing this?
No, it's not. Well, I don't want to say it's not worth talking about because I don't want to hurt his feelings. But nevertheless,
beneath him to belittle himself doing that.
Why are your tomatoes different colors? That's something to talk about.
They came in at different times.
Because two of them are orangey red and one is...
Do you want to know the truth?
Pinky red.
I swore I'm sick of looking at this watch. It's a nice watch. It's an expensive
You're not
watch.
cook it, are you?
But kiss it goodbye because I'm tired of looking at it on television. That's all I saw last week.
Was your watch?
It was my watch.
They're probably...
It was a good watch.
They're probably different varieties of tomatoes. Where did you get that nut chopper?
Every time I bring this nut chopper on, Johnson swears it's his.
Because I have one just like it.
It isn't his because we discovered the last time, boys and girls, that there are some tines missing down in here, and Johnson's is
fully tined.
Fully tined. He's having the tine of his life. Okay, what am I supposed to do now? One small red pepper chop. This is a large one, so I'm just going to use about half of it.
Well, good.
Well, I'm not going to throw that away. I could use that later on. And it's pretty clean inside. Just a few little seeds. I like to feed Johnson as many seeds as I can. You know, he has that diverticulitis problem. What was it I was saying about you before we went on there? Something about well, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to chop that up. Now back to Laban.
Well, at least I don't have to wear a truss for it.
Back to Laban.
And what is that? Oh, that's a piece of the interior part of an onion. Now, once you've added your potatoes and they are tender, if you'll look over in this pot, and these potatoes are tender, you then add a tomato quartered or sixth or eighted, depending on... well, cut into... Oh, well, Lord, it is turning yellow. Your chicken, that is.
I believe it's jaundiced.
Your tomato lays down on top of everything and steams and cooks in the liquid.
That's the way the tomato lays.
Now, Larry, you're serving yours the modern African style on a plate, and I'm serving mine the style that they would use out in the bush. So we'll be comparing those two things, and I can hardly wait to see you... oh, sloshed right down on me.
What? What was your thought that you were going to complete?
No, I was so surprised when this piece of meat just shot over and onto my hand and nearly ruined me with a third-degree burn here.
Last week we had a champagne cork go off while we were here. Put out that camera, guys. Good eye. The only one we had.
Good eye, good eye.
Good eye, good eye.
Right.
Big nose, big nose. Well, anyway.
Maybe some of you know that joke, but we can't tell it here on the air.
Oh, we're having such a good time.
Well,
if you're having a good time, right.
It appears to me, Lair, that your chicken is turning golden. Can you get all of the other ingredients in that pot?
Well, let me tell you what. I have a frying pan at home. It's about 3 times that size, and it's really what you need for a full whole chicken. One that they have, you know, left all the bones in and that you just rip apart and throw in there.
Or a Dutch oven.
So I'm just doing this just for the studio audience's sake, so that they can see the recipe done. Now we take an onion and throw it in there on top of this. Now this is fried for a little bit, okay? Onion, some of that red pepper, throw that just in on top, a little salt and pepper, and I have to take 3 red ripe tomatoes chopped. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to chop some tomatoes, put them in there, and then we're going to cut it down, and we're going to cover it up for 1 hour. It's going to cook in there, lower the heat, and we're going to cook it for 10 minutes. No, for an hour. There we go from there. They confuse me here with all these signals.
Well, at least they give them to us. Remember back in the old days when they wouldn't? They would throw things down on the floor, and if the dice rolled a 7, you knew that's how many minutes you had left. But we've gotten uptown with this show, and boy, all of this really smells good, Dr. Bly.
It really does.
This beef is really,
it's quite aromatic.
Whether you can tell or not, maybe Miss Carol can get a great shot of this, but this, look at how lovely this is. Nothing but just the beef,
oh, a startling
onion,
overhead shot. Look at that.
The beef, the onion, and the parsley, and look what a wonderful, deep, rich brown you have. And that comes from really doing your work with the.
Now, if your TV is out of sync, it will come across purple. It's a lovely purple for those of you with a real bad zenith. What? Oh, okay. Well, I'm still chopping up these tomatoes.
You certainly are.
We ought to, while I'm doing this tedious part of it,
why don't we look
at the recipes
and see what they have to say?
See what
the recipes have to.
Mm-hmm. Stretch. See what?
Okay.
Wonder what the recipes are going to say today, boys and girls. Oh, there we go. That's the chicken Congo. If you can read, you got it. 1 cup of oil, that's what you fry it in, a fryer cut up, and I think that if you wanted to get fancy, you could use, you know, maybe just a little flour, but you don't have to. Okay, 1/2 cup chopped onion, teaspoon of salt, red pepper chopped, 2 red ripe tomatoes. That should be 3. No, it is 2 red ripe tomatoes. Good, I only have to chop this one, and that's it. I was going to throw 3 of them in there. 2 cups of water. Sometimes a good thing, I look at these. I got to throw the water in. And a cup of chopped peanuts, and you hold those for the last 10 minutes. Well, I mean, you don't have to hold them. What was that old joke? What was that old joke? Skip, take it 2 days running and skip 1 day. Remember that joke? Okay, go ahead. And that's chicken Congo.
And now for the tajin, you need 2 pounds of beef, 2 pounds of potatoes, a large onion, a large tomato, 2 tablespoons of parsley, and you could use some margarine or oil if your meat is really lean, and some salt and pepper. And that's
your meat is lean and you're feeling
real easy to do, nothing to it. It is utterly amazing.
And you don't know what to do.
This actually is an easy dish. Okay, that's it.
Okay, now I've got to add these 2 red ripe chopped tomatoes. We're going to throw those in there. And a little bit of salt and pepper. Now comes the excitement.
Oh, Lord.
You need 2
Stand
cups of
back,
water.
Everybody.
Oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I need just a little bit more.
Okay.
2 cups of Wawa, a little salt and pepper. I salted and peppered the chicken just a little bit when we were starting. Oh, if you would like to write for our recipes, make sure you put this on the outside, and then you won't have to put a letter on the inside. And then we won't have to read the letter on the inside. Cookin' Sheep number 609, Post Office Box 8059, Roanoke, Virginia 24014. Must include self-addressed stamped envelope. And if you do that, boys and girls, we can very quickly return a recipe to you. In fact, that number will tell you you'll get both of those recipes for that.
Yeah, and you'll get it a lot faster that way, too.
You get it much faster because Zelda, our secretary, you know, she is so bad.
Miss Witch.
Miss Witch. She
is a
terrible.
Little on the slow side.
She just flies off sometimes.
And speaking of her...
What? Oh.
She's getting real good. She drops...
She's right feisty. I'll let you read it, being that you enjoy reading so
look.
much.
It's blue, the color of the Grecian flag. They must be there by now.
Where is she? All right.
Oh, but
Oh,
here
excuse me, you got to cover that and cook it for an hour. And then when you do that, we'll put some peanuts on top of it and serve it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Here we are in Athens. Hope we don't get hijacked again. These Greek men are a mess. Sister went out with a taxi driver last night, and I'm learning to dance like Zorba. Have you ever tried ouzo? They won't serve that at the church picnic. Have you ever had ouzo?
Ouzo.
It's so powerful it burns the vocal cords out of your mouth. It's terrible.
Oh, that does
Here are the recipes for 2 things they might serve, though. Love Tootsie. And she is enclosed in here 2 recipes for Greek food. So we'll be having that next week. You're doing I think I'll...
What is that?
a Greek chicken dish.
What is that?
And I've got a salad here.
Cheese that they fry.
Feta.
Feta cheese.
Feta cheese.
Yeah. Gosh, that's
and
good
Retsina wine, the world's nastiest wine, flavored with pine tar.
Oh, yeah, I've had some of that stuff.
Oh, it is. Well, it's now, I don't mean to offend anybody, but it is not for my particular taste buds.
No.
Well, there,
Did we have some of that down in Richmond that time we
yes,
went to
we
that
did.
fancy Greek
We did.
restaurant?
I want to get my dish out here onto the...
Well, it looks like you have several hats there.
And this is the way we're going to serve the food, so I'm just going to...
This is the way we
drop
serve
it right
the food.
on
serve
here,
the food.
like this.
Well, how do you eat it?
With your fingers.
Hot potatoes with your fingers?
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll cool off a little bit, but, you know, that's what you do. And so it's all ready here with our tomatoes and everything. And
I don't get it.
and I'll show you. We'll have a...
This is one of those rare occasions where I believe it'd be right rude to serve your food real hot. Unless you're trying to evade the FBI and don't want any fingerprints for the next 2 weeks. Well, this stuff, we'll take a good look at it, take a gander at it. Is not as pretty as it was yesterday because it's been carried around in my car all day. It'll probably kill us. No, it is. It's fully cooked.
Just like that punch you made.
It's fully cooked. It's very, very nice. Oh, that stuff kill anybody.
That
As
you
can see,
carry
it's
around
quite
in your
lovely.
car for 6 weeks while it ferments.
And so there it is. And so what are you going to do about it?
Nothing.
Ain't nothing you
Except
can do except eat it.
eat on it.
That's right. Eat on it. Now, here's what you do. When you get down to the last 10 minutes on this, what you do is you sprinkle on some chopped nuts. Just a few will do. Some chopped nuts. About how much? About a cup, as a matter of fact. And you can cover that back up if you want to and cook it for 10 more minutes. In fact, that's what your the recipe, the people who wrote this says that's what you should do.
Right.
And I have no doubt that that's what you should do.
You're going to put your watch back on?
Yeah, I'm
so you
putting my
can tell
watch
what time
back
it is?
on so I can tell what time it is. I got to be somewhere in about 10 minutes.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, let's carry these fine dishes over here to the dining room table. And it is sort of bizarre carrying this dish over here and knowing that I'm not going to be using silverware with this.
He won't be using silverware. I will be using silverware. Okay, there we go. The unfortunate thing is I have done such a good job of covering the food with nuts that I can no longer distinguish where one chicken piece begins and another one ends.
Well, isn't that nutty?
So how one can get this mess out of here is beyond my... I think I'll give you a big bony piece. What?
Well, there you are.
Well, I believe I gave you the back or something. Here, take something decent here. Yow! So does this chicken. Okay.
The camera persons are talking about using a verb concerning what their headsets do.
I know what they're talking about. And so does this chicken. Anyway, isn't this awful? We just had this cleaned. This tablecloth is a wreck. Now, what am I supposed to do here? I'm supposed to...
Well, one tears off a piece of bread. No. You take all the fun out of it when you do it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You tear off
This
a
is
piece
fun?
of bread. Sure. You can go for a little piece of meat, then you break off a piece of potato. You can have a little piece of tomato on it.
Angela.
and you drop it down into the broth.
Do one. There's tomato.
And the bread.
Oh, it's hot.
How attractive.
Boy, it was real hot. That's all it
Boy, they'd run you out of the jungle in no time.
Good.
This really is good this way, and this is the way you're supposed to do it. Lair, let's try the chicken.
Let's see what that's like. If we can figure out which end is up. I can't get anything in my mouth today.
Well, it tastes real good. Tastes like chicken, Congo style. That's about all the time we have for today. Bye.
When writing for today's recipe, please indicate show number 609. All requests must be sent to this address, accompanied by a self-addressed stamped return envelope.